Hey there tubers, I'm back again, and today's video is going to be the installation of the rear wiper. It goes right in there somewhere, and hopefully it won't be too big a deal. Let's check it out. Every day that UPS comes by, it's like Christmas. See what's in the box here. Instruction manual. That is thicker than I like to see. Ooh, and all kinds of stuff. Wow. Lots of little pieces. I'm sure I'll be losing some of those. Looks like a new cover, some sort. Wiper motor itself, a new reservoir. Well, I'm not sure what's wrong with the old reservoir, but apparently needs replaced. Wiper arm and wiper blade, and a whole bunch of hosing. So I'm going to see what the instructions have to say, and maybe get some tools out, kind of show you what I got to use, and what it's going to take to do this, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back in the cab here, and back in the upper corner here where the motor and everything goes. We've got to pop out a couple of grommets, this one and this one, and we've got to take some covers off to get to some screws that hold this corner pillar in. And thank goodness I got a toolbox right here. I don't know what I'd do with my tools if I didn't have a toolbox. Anyway, there's a screw in there. So we'll pull those four off, take those two grommets out, and see what's next. So I got the cover off. There's some wiring and miscellaneous crap in there. But what was interesting is this. There was already a hose in here. So I'm guessing from the factory they plumbed in a hose for this rear wiper and just kind of wadded it up. It was all stuffed right in here. Basically pull that out and just route it down through here. So it comes out a little hole down there and comes outside the tractor. Interesting. Yeah, so we'll see what's next and carry on. Well, first thing after you get the pillar off is to take that relay and disconnect it. After you've done that, then you reroute this hose here, which I already did because when I opened it up it was just wadded up in here, and I thought, what is that? So I pulled it all out and found out it was the windshield wiper hose, which I think they've already given me, but this one already had it installed. So we're learning something as we go here. Alright, see what's next. And those grommets just pushed right on out. No problem at all. It's kind of chintzy how they didn't paint the whole window. But hopefully the new grommets cover that up, and we'll be good to go. Well, this manual bounces around a little bit. And it now tells me to pull the other two grommets out. This kit is built for several Bobcat tractors, so I'm guessing the variances in each model probably has you do slightly different things, and they've just combined it all, so that's where the confusion comes in. But I think we'll be doing all right here. Got a couple of grommets to install here and here right now. One's for the window washer line, and then this one. Not entirely sure yet, but we'll get those installed and carry on. Well, real quickly here, after I started installing that one grommet, I noticed that this one, the glass is actually chipped. I don't know whether that came from casting or what, but yeah, hopefully that doesn't decide to spread. That one doesn't look too great either. Huh. Well, we'll see how that holds up. Alright, those two grommets are installed. They were a bit of a bear. They are definitely a snug fit, which is nice. It's better than loose and getting moisture and dust in here. Our next step is to grab this cushion bolt, rubber washer, mounting bracket, and nut, and put it in this lower one. There's a similar thing that goes into the upper one, except for the bracket is just a little different. So you gotta make sure you get the right bracket in the right spot. Alright, we'll give that a shot. Alright, those brackets are in. This is where a helper would come in very handy. They were a bear for me because I'm doing this by myself. The old lady seems to think that she needs to work for a living, which I do agree with that. Otherwise, I couldn't have toys like this. So anyway, after dropping it a few times, I finally got a good hold on them, got them installed. So next is the motor, it says. So we'll grab that, throw it up here, and go from there. Well, we've reached a point here where we need to backtrack a little bit. Now, what I thought the instructions had told me to do was to disconnect this power supply here. I wasn't sure why, because it's connected to a relay, why it would need to be disconnected. Didn't make a lot of sense at the time, and for good reason, because it didn't need to be. So earlier, when I was talking about the hose that was already wadded up in this section, well, it was wadded up with an electrical connection. So now that I got the motor mounted, I was trying to figure out how I was supposed to get power to it. That's where this comes in. So this has already been routed. It's already connected to the existing, if you can see it down there, it's down through there, washer fluid reservoir. So what that tells me is that the hose I got in the kit and the reservoir that I got in the kit, I don't have to do anything with, because it's already been plumbed for that. Which I'm assuming some tractors didn't have a front or a rear wiper, and that's probably why they gave you all that stuff. Where this tractor came with a front wiper, it's already got it plumbed all the way to the front, and they were wise enough to go ahead and plumb it for the rear. The only thing that I questioned was this hose was just up in there. So does that mean if I had squirted wiper fluid for the front one, it had drained into this column here? Don't know. But yeah, so that's going to make it a lot easier here. We'll get this connected up. Before I get too much covered up here, just so you know, these are 12 millimeters. So you will need a 12 millimeter wrench. And these ended up being 10 millimeters. So right now, a 10 and a 12 is all that I can see that you need. But we'll progress here and see if there's anything else. Alright, so we got the wiring harness connected, and the hose that was run through this loom with it, routed it through the hole in the back. Now I just have to pull this bolt back out and put the cover on and tighten it down. Because for some reason they just put one bolt down here for the cover, and you have to reuse this one for the top bolt. But that's simple enough, and we'll get that and carry on. Okay, so here we are. Like most things I do, it takes 4 or 5 tries to get it right. So what the instructions don't tell you to do is to route this electrical and hose back behind here. Otherwise, your beauty cover will not fit on there, because this line is not enough clearance in between here to get it on there. So you have to route it behind like so, and then get your beauty cover on. So I'll get that installed and be right back. Alright, the beauty cover is installed. It was kind of a bear because this upper mount isn't exactly square with its bends, so getting a bolt to start through that was anything but fun. And unfortunately, the kit left out a bolt, so I'm going to have to run to town, get a 12mm bolt and install it there to finish this off. And then one thing you want to check is opening the window up, so you don't put too much tension on that wire. I don't plan on having the window open at all, but if you open your window a whole lot, that could be a wear spot. Just FYI. So it looks like the next thing is on the outside, so we'll see what that entails and be right back. Alright, so wiper blade arm install is next. We'll go up there on that little spline, and this is smooth on the inside, so I'm guessing that it's a softer metal and that you pretty much put it where you want it, because the manual does not say anything about location or angle. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate where I want it, and then install this, put the nut on, tighten it down, and go to the next step. Okay, we're back. So I got that installed, and then the washer fluid line was the next thing, which ended up being quite a pain in the butt, because they wanted you to route it inside that spring and then down the nozzle. Well, the only way I could get there was to open the cap up and fish it down through here. And boy, was that a pain. But I got it. I left myself a little bit of extra here just in case there's something once it starts wiping that I don't realize. Maybe stretches a little bit or something. So I got a little bit of extra line. And I'll throw the wiper blade on right now, which pretty basic. Should just pop right on there. Then I'll have to go in and put the switch in, fuse, and we should be ready to rock. So let me get this blade on, and then we'll see what we got to do inside. Alright, so we're back inside, and we need to pull the covers off of these 3 screws on our toolbox slash fuse box, and then install this relay. So that sounds simple enough. I'll pop those off and see what we got. Alright, that was quick and easy. Those ended up being Phillips head screws. And then that right down in there is the spot we got to put this. Let's see if we can get it in there. Bada bing, bada boom. It is in. All right. So now we'll put that back together. Like so. And then we'll move on to the next one, which I think is going to be on the other side of the tractor here in the pillar column. All right. Now on the other side here, on this pillar column, remove the 2 screws up there, 2 screws down there, and then we'll pull this off and we'll knock this one out and put our rear wiper switch in. So I'll be right back with you. Alright, I got this column plastic taken down. I was able to pop out the one spot that we needed. Those are in there snug, so it's going to take a little bit of effort to get that out. So the next thing we do is we take our switch here and just pop it in. And then once we get it popped in, we take this harness here, plug it into the back of that, and they were kind enough to even mark these for us. So that says rear wiper. Plug the other end there, and we should be good to go. Put this back up, and we're off to the races, I think. Alright, I'll get that put back in and everything tightened up, and see you in a second. So it looks like I got a little too excited. I am going to have to pull this cover off, which is just 2 bolts, one top, one bottom. And I'm going to have to pull that reservoir out. Even though that hose was run down there, it just dead ends there. And then after looking, there's only 1 pump on this, so the new reservoir's got 2. So I'm going to have to pull this all apart. Put that in. No big deal. Just a few more minutes to the project. So I'll get this pulled apart, see what it looks like, and be right back with you. Alright, so I got that cover off. And voila, back here, tied up, is the electrical and hose that was already run inside. So I'll snip that off, drain that out, mount the new one up there, and we should be in business. Alright, so all you have to do with this is it just slides onto that piece, just boom, right on it. So just wiggle it off. Got the new one sitting here, got the same bracket on the back. We'll just slide it on, hook the hoses up, electrical connectors, and we should be race ready. Alright, there's the new one, and it is substantially bigger than the old one, so you do have to take that bracket off. It's just a couple of bolts down here, pops right off, slide this thing right on, and mount it back up. Less than a minute. But while I got it apart, I'm going to pull this fitting back off, and this is the new one that goes on the back here for the second pump. And I'm going to fill them with dielectric grease, and hopefully that will help keep the corrosion and crap to a minimum with these electrical connections. I wish the factory would do that stuff, but they don't. You know, they got to save the 50 cents that it would take to ensure a longer life on these electrical components. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to do that real quick. Then I'll put the cover back on, fill it up with some juice, and give it a test shot. Just a quick note, I don't know if anybody's ever used these fast funnels. They're disposable paper funnels, but they work pretty slick. And they are working for this job just fine. 'cause it's kind of a pain to get down in there. So I just open one of these up. Voila. We're dumping fluid. Just quick note. Not paid for it or nothing. Okay. Alright, I cheated a little bit. I tried it without you. It does work. And there she is. Works as it should. The only thing that's a little goofy is that it stops up there. I mean, it's fine. Kind of out of my sight. But I would assumed that it was gonna be vertical. Oh well, we'll see how it holds up. See how much dirt piles up on that. But yeah, that's the project. The only thing about it was that we were missing one bolt in our kit, and then they gave us a couple of extra bolts, and yeah, pretty simple. Paperwork says about an hour, but it took a couple hours, and I'm filming and learning along the way. They're not the greatest instructions in the world, but yeah, so there she is. Alright, well, these are the tools you'll need. 12mm and a 10mm socket, 10 and 12 end wrench, some dielectric grease, Phillips, and a regular screwdriver, and some snips. And that should get the whole project done for you. Now over here, we've got what's left. That's a sign of a good project, is when you got spare parts left over. So we've got the original hose that they gave us, but this tractor had already been plumbed from the factory with some, so we didn't end up needing that. That is the old reservoir, which is just a single pump reservoir for just the front window. And then we ended up with a couple of small screws. I don't know what those would be for. Like I said, this kit was built for multiple tractors, so it could be for one of the other ones. But yeah, that's it. And I'll show you quickly from the outside what that job looked like. And there she is in all her glory. So yeah, pretty simple. Not too bad of a job. Definitely something anybody with just the slightest mechanical experience can do. So yeah, if you want to see anything else done on this thing or have any comments, just put them below and I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. I think my next project's going to be a radio, so we'll see you on that one. Bye-bye.